$200, I bought this Honda 25 horsepower from a duck hunter off his duck boat. It does not have a pull cord. It does not have an electric start. I have no idea if it works. And the question is, am I gonna lose my money or will this run? Starters for this engine are pretty expensive. So before I purchase that, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do a compression test by putting a drill on the top here and spinning the flywheel. In order to accomplish that, I need to remove each one of these spark plugs. So that's what I'm gonna do. I've taken out each of the spark plugs, and now we're going to put on the compression tester so we can see what this compression is. We'll test the compression for each one of the cylinders by spinning this flywheel by way of the drill. $94.4. $101.2. All right, third cylinder. Keep your fingers crossed. That's not a good sign that it spun that easy. 41, 42, hold on. 43.1, that one is really low. The compression on that lower cylinder might do us in. If you notice though, when I was spinning that drill, the RPMs on that drill were not very high. And I know that some of these Hondas have a compression release system that keeps a valve open at a certain RPM. So what I'd like to do is put the starter on. Now I was able to find a starter on a parts motor from Facebook Marketplace for pretty inexpensive. So let's go ahead and install the starter and then retest the compression and see, did I lose my money or is this thing really gonna run? This starter that I bought came with a solenoid, which I don't need. So I'm gonna take off this solenoid that it came with. I already have, they left the solenoid on the engine, so we'll just use that one. So let's go ahead and do that. We're going to begin by installing this solenoid that's already on the engine to this starter. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, we were able to attach the solenoid that was already wired into this engine, so that saved me some time. And I attached the solenoid to the main lead to the starter. And now we just need to attach the starter to the engine block. So let's go ahead and do that now. right, we were able to hook up the solenoid that was already ran electrically here to this engine. We hooked it up to the new starter that we found on Facebook Marketplace. I really hope this thing works. And then we took the battery lines, and the ground was already, or the black wire was already ran into the electrical system of the engine, meaning it was grounded. And I just hooked up the positive side here to the solenoid, just like it's supposed to be. So let's go ahead now and hook up the battery and make sure that everything is in working order. Okay, I've got the battery hooked up, so moment of truth, the start button is right here. So here we go. And I got nothing. Alrighty, so could be a bad solenoid. Let's go ahead and bypass the solenoid and see, and that's probably the problem. Okay, I bypassed the solenoid and we were able to get power to the starter. Starter looks like it's turning the flywheel just fine. So let's go back now and we're gonna retest the compression on these, and hopefully if there's a valve stuck or if it was that compression suppression system, we'll overcome it with the higher RPMs and I won't lose my money and we'll be able to at least see that we have compression. Let's try it. All right, we have the starter on and that allowed us to check the compression again. We have 150 on the top, 150 in the middle, and then we had the highest I could get it was 105 on the bottom. So I might be in trouble here, but the engine has sat for a year. So I'd like to let it run. If we can get it running, I'd like to let it run and see if that compression jumps up. Sometimes it really does. Sometimes it just needs to get things moving. So let's move forward and see if she has spark. Let's do it. Sometimes it can be difficult to see spark on the camera, but we're going to give it a try. We're going to try for spark on the top. Let's see what we got. Yeah, definitely have spark on the top. I don't know if you're able to see it on the camera though. I checked for spark. I showed you. I don't know if you could see that on the camera or not, so I just went ahead and did the middle and the bottom, not on camera. All of them have spark. So let's hook the cables back up and put this lower unit in some water and see if we can actually get it running. Maybe with it moving, we can get the compression up on the bottom. All right, I need to lower it down in the water just a little bit, but it's running. We'll see if it can stay going. Hold on. All right, here goes nothing. Let's see if it's going to run. That's great. Perfect. All right, so it's definitely running. We have some questions about the lower cylinder with the compression. Let me know if you know anything about that. If there is a compression release system on this, I'm gonna take it out and try to run it and see what happens with that compression. But we answered the question, is this thing gonna run? It is gonna run. Definitely worth my 200 bucks. I'll put some good use into this thing. Thank you for watching.